myself a promise I won't quit.
Episode 6, the final day of practice. Guys, I'm just going to tell you this right now. You better watch this episode. This episode, a lot goes down. I mean, a lot goes down. I don't even know where to begin, right? We're going to begin. And a lot of these episodes in the morning time start off pretty slow, I will admit. And this one starts off a little slow, but it's important, very important. As you keep watching, this episode starts evolving, and it evolves. This light bulb up here, it goes off, and it's not because I got smart or nothing. It just clicked. I do realize that some of y'all, this is the first time ever even seeing my channel. This is the first episode y'all have ever seen. I'm begging you guys, get any of the comments, talk to anybody. Everyone will tell you, don't watch this episode. Go to the first one, guys, if y'all really want to see like a true, shoot, is this like a Netflix series? This is like a Netflix series. I got compared to Yellowstone. I mean, come on, I'm not Yellowstone by any means, but I mean, in the fishing YouTube game, it's about as close as you're gonna get. You're not gonna get anything else like this, ever. So go to episode 1, start it from the beginning. I'm pretty sure you'll like it, right? It might be something different that you're not used to, right? It's not like everyone else. So but I think you'll get into it. I think you'll start to see maybe this is what fishing really is. Like, these are the videos that you don't find on YouTube because everyone does them one way. I'm doing them a different way. So if y'all are ready, let's start off. It might be a little fuzzy, guys. Might be a little hard to see at first. You'll see what I'm talking about. Let's go. This is what day 4 looks like. I'm just idling. There's a pocket around from the bridge where we put in it on the south end. So I'm just idling to that pocket. I haven't been in there yet. I had some bites there the last time I was here. They were schooling. So I'm gonna go check that out, see what the grass looks like. I hadn't been in there yet. I've been saving it. And a couple of times I didn't go in there was because the wind was blowing so bad. And so now, of course, we got fog. It's not blowing. So I get in there. You can tell. Sorry, this is just what the camera looks like, right? Just foggy, nasty. It's not going good. It looks really good. It looks like we should get bit in here. And maybe it was just time of day. And this is the bad part about fishing, guys, is that sometimes you're in good areas. You're just not in them at the right time. And there's nothing you can do about it, right? You just kind of have to still put your head down and fish and hope you come across them. Sometimes you can just keep doing what you're doing. Sometimes they're in that area and you just have to fish differently, right? But I don't want to fish differently anymore. This is day 4 of practice. I've got an idea of what I want to do. So I'm still looking for more areas. And I'm trying to change some things up. As in the areas I'm going to. I still can't run anywhere. It's gotten better. But I'm like, hey, let's fish some of this. Break walls, little marina. This is the same pocket I was in earlier on day 2, where I went in here, fished around the boat docks, and in the grass. I only had one bite. I still think they should be in here. I swore I was going to get bit underneath this thing. I'm throwing a jig. I'm throwing different things, skipping it up way up in there. Throwing a swim bait. Throwing a swim jig. What's cool about that structural jig is I can swim it and I can flip it. And what I just said right there is I'm seeing a bunch of perch in those docks. Now those docks are like 8 or 9, 10 foot deep, but they're only down, 6 inches to a foot. And I can see them. I'm not hitting this hard. I really don't know if they're on bottom. I'm not really enthused about doing it. And look, there's a bite right there. That intrigues me a little bit. I did get bit. It was not on bottom. Now I'm going to throw a crankbait around out here. Like I said, I'm not saying I'm wasting time, but I am. This is not really what I want to be doing right now. But with the fog setting in, yeah, I'm just kind of fishing what's in front of me. Sometimes this is good. Sometimes this will make you kind of do different things. Now here's something that's really cool right here. I can see it's pretty clear, and I'm throwing that same structure jig, but I'm swimming it. And when I was swimming it, like I can see bottom right there. It's dirt shallow. And when I was reeling it back in, you can see how I'm not working it. I'm just kind of reeling it, popping it. And it felt like I hit something. And sure enough, it was a fish. And if you saw me looking, what I was doing was it was right there. I saw the fish. So it was a keeper. Wasn't a big one, but it was a keeper. Way up there shallow again. Just swimming a little jig in a foot of water. It's that same structure jig I have. Now, I will say one thing. I have a 3/4 ounce jig on. Structure jig. I have that on because I can move it really fast. I'm in search mode, guys. I'm not worried about getting a ton of bites. I haven't been really getting bit off docks, although I'm going to throw on some docks. A lot of times what I'll do with that jig, if you notice, see how I'm not really throwing in them? I'll just kind of throw around the bank. Remember, most of my bites have been coming not really in the docks. They've been coming around docks or around the grass. There's a little bit of grass underneath me right now. I just assume I'm going to get bit around a dock eventually. And if I do, I'll slow down and fish them. But it hadn't happened yet. So you see me right there, like I'm not really letting it sit there. I'm kind of swimming it, popping it. You got to realize, guys, I can see bottom right here. It's shallow. So I'm just skipping it in there. Like I said, it's only a foot and a half. So no real reason to like let it sit there. But I'm kind of sometimes more interested, really. This is right where I got bit the other day when I was in here at the end of the day. If y'all remember when it was raining and nasty, it was right on the other side of this boat dock, on this bank, way on up there. So like as far as you can throw up there, basically, see as the boat turns on the other side of this, way up on that bank. Now I can basically see, if you see me, I'm not fishing, it's because I can basically see everywhere up there. And I'm really just looking to see what I see, seeing if I see any. Okay, on that dot, see me right there? I've got them on. That's basically my first fish.
Yeah. I saw her run out of that dock.
You hear what I said? I saw her come out of that dock. Like I said, it's shallow and I can see. It was a 3-pounder. So I'm not worried about this dock too much anymore. But I have thrown at docks for 3 or 4 days, and that's the first bite I've had on one. And it wasn't up in there, right? It was on the outside. It was on the side of it, yes. But it wasn't like crazy up in there. And if you look at me right now, I'm just looking. See me pointing? Like I see one. Everyone uses live scope. I got the thing that was around before live scope was invented. It's called Costa sunglasses in my eyes. They don't lie to me. Do you wonder why I've been wearing Costas pretty much my whole career? That's why. Just had another one on. Up there on nothing.
I was on grass and I was doing this the whole time.
I thought I actually was hung up the whole time and it was a fish. I was trying to shake it off of grass and there's no grass up there.
I was doing this right here, like trying to shake grass, and I look up, my line's over here. Are you out of it or something today?
Mm-mm.
I was asking Gilbert if he was out of it. He hadn't said 2 words all morning.
It's just hard to cast when you can see them. You know what I'm saying? It's just.
Well, I know, but I've just caught. I've had like that one. I just had one on. Like I'm telling you, man. Like I know you're not used to this, but like I catch them like this, and it's weird to throw. That's why I keep on pointing them out. Going.
So I talk so much about fishing fast and moving and covering water. And Gilbert's not upset. He's just practicing, right? He don't care. But what he said is like, he's even in the boat with me while I'm doing it. And he's like, man, it's hard to cast because you're going so fast. And he goes, also, like I said, he could see bottom everywhere. Like he said, it's hard to cast when you're in a foot of water looking at the bottom and go, yeah, I'm going to cast up there even shallower and I don't see anything up there. And that should let you know sometimes they're up there. It's very hard for us mentally and physically to make a cast up there because it doesn't seem right. It seems like your mind's telling you there's nothing up there, and sometimes they are. They're bass, man. I mean, they're in their own environment. They're fine living up there or being up there in water that you don't think they should be in. It's hard on me to do it sometimes. But that's what he was saying. That's what I think a lot of guys don't get, don't understand, and aren't willing to do at times. So now I'm outside of that because I kind of think that there's fish in that area, just that one little stretch. And I know there's some fish there. I hadn't seen anything giant. And I'll be honest with you, same thing with what Gilbert just said about it's hard to do. I just assume there's going to be more of them out here. As you can see those sticks up there, I'm fishing a big giant flat. You can see bottom sometimes up there. You can see bottom where I'm at. I fished it for an hour and a half. I had like one bite. I fished a whole bunch of area in a whole bunch of water that looked phenomenal. And I basically had one bite. I'll be honest with you, if you'd have bet me that, I'd have told you that I had 4 or 5. With what I've seen, the main river's right there, it sets up for it to be phenomenal. And it wasn't. Now, maybe I hit it at the wrong time, but I also I just came from that other bank and got bit. So I'm not really, I don't know how, they're not out there. So now I've been wanting to do this. So on the other side of this bridge, on the right-hand side of it, is where I had those bites, right, in the grass. I've been wanting to come on this side of it. Because I'm like, heck, if they're on one side, let's come to the other side. Now, this is where the tournament was out of last time. I now know that the tournament's not out of here. So this isn't off limits. I thought it was. Okay? So now I'm going to fish this a lot more. The problem is it doesn't look like the other side. There's not a lot of grass. I fished around that pocket. They were doing a whole bunch of construction. You can see how they're doing all that dock work. Sometimes construction bothers me, sometimes it doesn't. So now I'm idling around. I'm coming up in here, and it's totally different than what I'm used to, right? This isn't what we've been fishing, but there is some rocks. There's some pilings up here. I'm going to try some of this. So I'm just kind of, it's really, really deep too. And there's rocks all up underneath this dock. I don't know, guys. Maybe they get here, maybe they don't. I hadn't really had a bite. Now watch this. Okay, did you see that bite?
What's that?
Gilbert asked, he's like, what was that? Well, once again, it was a blow up. Now, it looked fairly close to my bait, but we could tell it was about 2 foot away. It was another big one. Did just like the one did the other day. Someone on the comments said, oh, it looked like your Chapo ran into a gizzard shad. So what'll happen is those shad, right? They'll get up on top of the water, schools of them, not gizzard shad, regular little small shad. And as your Chapo comes by them, I mean, they don't know what that thing is. It's going crazy, disturbing the water, and it makes them spook a little bit, kind of like what maybe a hydro wave would do. Well, when they spook, you know, there's bass probably sitting underneath them, and it came up there and exploded on one of those shad that was spooked by my Chapo. It's exactly what happened the other day on that other spot on the other side of the bridge. And I knew that's what happened. I've been waiting to tell you all that. I wanted to show you all that bite as well. Didn't really matter. It didn't get after it, right? Because I went back to that spot the other day and got bit there, right? An hour later. So remember, it's not about catching fish half the time. It's just about locating them, right? Now, I think this stuff's really cool when I'm fishing. I guess. I don't know if anyone actually catches fish here. They have to at some point in time. I guess this is kind of the industrial district of Guntersville. I saw no one over here, ever. Maybe I didn't come over here when people were over here, but I fished a couple miles of this, and it looks really cool. I don't know why they wouldn't get on here sometimes, but I never had a bite. But it's like no one ever. I mean, guys, there's 200 something boats on here, and there's no one around me ever. I hadn't hardly seen a boat all day. Granted, I have had some bites though this morning. I've had quite a few bites actually, so it hasn't been a horrible day considering, and it's still early. I haven't had the greatest of luck early. I can get a bite or two, but nothing great. So now there's a marina over here. I'm gonna come check out this. So guys, if you look right across the lake on the left-hand side over there, that's where I was starting the day. So I'm across the lake. So I'm gonna come over here and check out this marina. Sometimes marinas are good, sometimes, you know, they're not. I don't really know on this lake, but I'm still gonna go check it out. They usually do have fish around them. Granted, there's a whole bunch of this pier, and if you watch, I'm not sitting there like casting at everything. I might cast 3 or 4. I'm really just looking. If you really look in the water right there, you can see bottom. Right? On the right-hand side, if you look in that glare, that's bottom right there. So I fished the marina. I do see a bunch of stuff in the marina, like perch and bait and some things like some small ones. But if you notice, I come around this whole marina because I didn't get any bites. And once again, I'm on this one big flat. I'm just kind of randomly throwing my sexy dog out there, but I'm really just looking. See, I just saw one. Not a big one. See, I'm seeing some, but they're not big. Everyone's using live scope these days, right? I'm just using a different version of live scope. Now really, really watch what happens here, guys. So really look at the bottom, like on the right. You can tell it, see how it looks like dirt? That's because it's like less than a foot of water right here. And this dock is in less than a foot of water. I'm not really worried about the dock. See, you can really see it now. Look at the bottom right-hand side of the screen. You can really see how clear it is? I mean, I can see forever.
There's 2 of them. See, they're up here, dude. 3 up, 3, 4. Dude, just get up here real quick. You don't even have to get up here real quick.
So I want Gilbert to look as well. So what they did is they weren't underneath that dock. They were on the edge of it. And they came swimming. I saw them. They had seen me, and they started swimming away from the dock. So I don't have to fish these docks. I'm just looking for them. Why not? So I'm going to kind of go around these docks and just look. Like I said, sometimes it's more just kind of seeing what's in the area. I do flip at a couple of them. You know, I've been flipping a little bit here and there. Not really hard though. Just kind of the outside edges. Just kind of casting around, not swimming it sometimes. I'm not fishing hard. Not yet. So I did see some fish. I saw some bait up there. There's some grass out here, out in front. So all I did is just kind of like a little U-turn. And there's a big grass kind of pocket. It's only 4 or 5 foot out there. I had one bite out there. I really thought I was going to catch him out here over this grass. Because even though I saw some up shallow, I just assumed they're going to use this grass more. So I was like, hey, if I saw a couple up there, there's got to be more out here. I work it pretty hard. Probably another 30 minutes all around there, hitting all that grass out there, different baits. I had one bite. I had the bite, probably couldn't have been able to even catch it, but I had a bite. And right now I'm just kind of stroking a jig through that grass. Kind of swimming it, kind of just, you know, like I said, I get tired of that, go back, right back where I started, going down the bank again. Now, remember, I just saw a couple, like a group of 4 2.5 to 3 pounders. Really, really shallow. So now I'm gonna get ready. Get ready what's about to happen.
Cool. Big. Like 4 and 5 pounders. Another giant. That's like a 5 right there. Here.
Okay, so I saw at least 4 around 5 pounds. A group, a wolf pack of about 5 pounders. And I am shallow. Like the docks are out there, in my opinion, deep water. I mean, I'm seeing these fish shallow. And once again, I go to kind of flipping.
Docks, so. Like those were at their shade.
So you hear what I said? Like, I can't believe these fish aren't underneath these docks. Because, not that I fished them hard, but I just assumed I would have got a bite underneath them.
Let's try some.
So I haven't figured it. I know something's off. And what I mean by something's off, I don't feel comfortable yet with what I'm seeing. So here's what I'm going to do. Here, I'm going to go throw a frog or a topwater around these areas. But I'm going the wrong direction. See those docks at the very end of where I'm at? I'm going to go all the way down here. And I'm going to turn around and go back down them. And the reason I want to go back down them is I can skip a lot better facing that direction. So if I want to skip a frog up there shallow, if I want to, whatever I want to do, I'm not going to flip docks. I'm going to like get back in them. Right? So you see, I can just skip a lot better at the one, you know, on my right hand side. I'm thinking I want to throw a frog, like my pad perch. And that's what I'm throwing right here. Because I'm thinking, man, they're so shallow. You just get it next to one, they'll bite it. I don't really like throwing a frog or pad perch in docks. But these are so shallow, and the way they're, and I haven't got bit inside of them. So I'm still kind of fishing the outside of them more or less than the inside. I just told Gilbert just now, I'm like, hey, pick up a bait that you can throw where you're not going to hook one. So I got my pad perch. I can shake it off with that. I just wanted to throw something without like treble hooks on it. And if you can see, I'm still looking up there. I can see pretty far up there. And I hit about 6 or 7 of these docks. And nothing. And it's kind of bothering me. Because I just can't figure out. Like, I don't mind catching them up there without docks, but I'm just, something's not right. So I'm halfway down these docks, still nothing. And finally something clicks, right? I'm like, wait a minute. I know it's shallow. I get it. What if they're behind these docks? So this is the first time I went behind them.
That's where they are.
I still got her on. I just shook her off. Now,
That's why they're not on the docks.
you hear me? That's why they're not on these docks. It was another 5-pounder. See the dirt I'm kicking up? That's how shallow it is. And it was a giant up there. That was my first cast up shallow.
Alright. Good game plan.
I'm not gonna lie, that's about as much excitement as you'll see because I think I've got it dialed in. Okay, I think I got it figured out. See, I'm changing my game plan. This is the day before the tournament, guys. And now it's starting to click. If you see what happens here is this. I'm gonna sit right here for a second. Once again, I go to my map. The map, like I said, if I'd ever looked at that map beforehand, I don't know what I'm supposed to be looking for. It's a map. It's got a lot of things on there. But it doesn't tell you where fish are. That told me where fish are. I'm going to look at my map now and figure out where I need to go, right? What are other places that look like this? And I think I have it all to myself. Like, no matter what I find, I know people, I have not seen anyone do stuff like this. I know people aren't fishing this way. Shoot, it's taken me days to kind of get that bite or see those fish. I got lucky. It's a nice, calm, sunny day. This to me, that right there, that 15 to 20 minutes changed my whole game plan on this whole entire tournament. Hey, so what are we going to do now? You're about to find out what we're about to do. I only got a couple hours. We're going to make the most of it. It ain't even close to being over. Stay tuned for episode 7 of Alabama Waters.